Hey there, today I'm going to show you how I transformed this kitchen to this kitchen. Stay tuned to see how we did it step by step. Now let's head back 1 year ago when we were first planning out our design.
But as I mentioned before, we're going to be removing this staircase, and the new staircase will start at the same spot up there and continue down this wall in this direction. So all these cabinets will need to be removed, and the new kitchen will be a galley kitchen along this back wall here, and then we're gonna have a nice large, probably 4x6 island right here, kind of get rid of this two separate spaces and just make it one big area.
As with every renovation, the first step is demo. Now this was a bit of an odd kitchen as there's a roof on the inside of the home. You don't see that every day, so I started by taking that off. When it comes to kitchen demo, there's a variety of techniques. You could just take a sledgehammer and bang everything to bits, but I decided to take each cabinet out one by one and try and keep it clean on the inside. Once all of the big cabinets were out, it was then time to tackle the countertops. Not really sure why tile countertops were such a craze back in the day, but yeah, we're not keeping those. I then moved on to removing the blue corresponding backsplash and then cleaned up. I try and keep a pretty clean work site around here as it keeps my mental state in a good place. I tore out all the tile, including the cement board held down by about 1,000 screws, and then I moved on to removing these beams as these need to come down for the new staircase. And we tried to be careful with these beams as I knew I'd reclaim them at some point, and it turns out that we used them eventually for the band board here underneath the railing on the staircase. We also used them for the headboard in the first floor bedroom renovation, and lastly we also used them in the bathroom renovation for the ceiling. It was then time for the spiral staircase to come down, and we could then make room for our new staircase by cutting out a hole here into the subfloor. We did contact a local stair company to manufacture the stairs, however I was responsible for all the structural work to get everything in the right place, so we had to take out these two floor joists and then we added some rim joists on the sides to support the new staircase. Once that was complete, we added Durock to the entire first floor, about 800 square feet, so we could start laying tile. And it was at this point that I realized just how much respect I had for those that lay tile for a living. It is quite the task. And once we had basically the whole kitchen complete with tile, the staircase had arrived, so they actually assembled it on the ground first and then hoisted it up into position. I also have a dedicated video just about this whole staircase install, so if you want to check it out, I'll link it up in the top right hand corner, and pretty much all the other projects that you see in this video I have dedicated videos for, so go ahead and check out my channel if you want to see more detail. And given that we're shrinking the kitchen down to just one wall, we weren't able to incorporate this window into the design, so we had to cover it up. We do have two skylights in the ceiling as well as a complete wall of windows, so we weren't too worried about this limiting the natural light in the space. We also had new electrical run as well as plumbing, and then covered it all up with some drywall. The plan for the space is to put the fridge all the way on the right, the stove to the left of that with the hood above it, and then the dishwasher is going to go up against the stairs with the sink to the right of that, and then we're going to have a beverage center off to the right of the patio door. Given the limited space that we have, we thought this was the most efficient use of it. Since we have so much height to work with, we decided to make the kitchen 9 feet tall and go with double upper cabinets, so I had to cut away some of the cedar to make room for that. I then cut the cedar on this side of the wall in order to make room for the beverage center, and this way the cabinets can go flush up against the drywall and the cedar trim can butt up to the side of it. Then the custom cabinets can start to get installed. We had a cabinet shop build these for us to the exact specifications that we needed to make sure everything was optimized in this space. I wish I could have built these myself as I'm a really hard-headed DIYer, however I didn't have the proper tools or the time to build them. However, that's going to actually change. I'll be building a bar in our basement quite soon, so get subscribed if you want to see that. I then cut a hole in the tile so we could run electric to the island, and the next day the countertops arrived. We went with an off black granite with a leathered finish, and I just love the way that it contrasts just enough off those pure black cabinets. And you'll notice that they didn't put any counters on the island. You'll see why a little bit later in the video. Then it was time for backsplash. I chose a bit of a polarizing tile. I think you'll either love it or hate it, but it's actually an antique mirrored finish with a bit of a gold hue that complements the rest of the gold accents in the kitchen. And while I install this backsplash, I just wanted to give a little bit of a background on myself as I have quite a lot of new subscribers. My name's Grant, and while this channel may be only 2 years old, I've been watching YouTube for over 15. And in that time, I've subscribed to many woodworking and DIY channels, and that's where I've actually found a lot of my knowledge. I love working with my hands, and I actually started my college career by being a mechanical engineer, but eventually found my calling with accountancy. Yep, accountancy. So I eventually got my CPA and was working in the full-time world for a while, and that's when I bought my first investment property. It was actually a house hack, so I lived in one of the bedrooms and rented out the others to my friends, and I renovated the entire property, and you can find that entire documentation of the renovation in the Chicago condo renovation playlist. And that's when I caught the home renovation bug, and I really loved documenting the entire process as well. After that property was finished, we moved on to Project Needle, which I renovated with my girlfriend Bianca. You can also find all of those videos on our channel as well. And now what you're watching currently is our third project, the Lake House project, and this has taken quite a long time. I've been working on this for over a year at this point, and it's just a lot more involved, and I'm doing a lot more of the work myself, hence the longer time frame. But I actually quit my job as a strategy consultant to pursue this renovation and social media work full time, so it means a lot to me that you're watching this video, so please drop a like if you're enjoying it. And the reason I started this channel was, for one, to document everything so I can look back at these videos and see see all the work that I've done and show my friends and family and maybe future kids. But second to that, I also just wanted to inspire others to do DIY projects around their homes, because that's how I started. Like I said, I started watching other channels and those inspired me and helped me learn, so hopefully I can do the same for someone else out there. Now that's enough about me, let's get back to the video. After cleaning off all the haze on the tile, I could install the hood and then slide the stove back into position. I was quite excited that the backsplash was now complete. Then we can move on to installing the microwave, and we prefer to do built-in microwaves as it's not just sitting on your counter, it's kind of hidden away a little bit. So I put some rails on the underside of the microwave, then installed this tray inside the cabinet, and then you can just slide it into position and everything should line up nicely. I then installed the trim kit around the perimeter and everything was all done. Now let's get back to that island countertop. We didn't want to go with granite and we were actually going to go with some butcher block, and the cabinet shop that made our cabinets was supposed to make it, but they bailed on us, so I said I'll make it myself. Home Depot actually sells some butcher block blanks that you can buy that are about 8 feet long and 2 feet wide. However, I actually needed mine to be 4 feet wide for this island, so I had to get 2 of them and glue them up side by side, and that wasn't exactly easy given the fact that they have rounded edges, so I had to use some interesting techniques to get some straight edges, as I don't have a track saw, or at least I didn't at that point. I do have one now after this project. I used some biscuits for alignment, and then I could use some pipe clamps to make sure it was nice and tight. I just love how satisfying this clip is, so I had to include it. But once both of the sides were on, we could bring in the top and mark it so it could be cut to the proper size. Once everything was installed, I could apply a finish, and I decided to go with a water-based polyurethane, and I applied 3 coats. Now you may have seen this in last week's video, but for the upper cabinets, we decided to go with this metal wire. We were originally going to go with some glass or leaded glass, but then we found this wire and thought it was really cool, and again it has that gold hue to complement the rest of the colors in the kitchen. And the LED lights in these upper cabinets was a bit harsh, so I added some blocking in front of it so you didn't see directly into those LEDs. And if you remember those 2 large beams that we took out earlier from the old kitchen, they left these 2 pretty big holes in the cedar siding, so I had to patch those up. We luckily had a lot of scraps left over from when we took out the cedar for the upper cabinets of the kitchen, so I just used that to fill in these 2 holes. Now for the appliances in the kitchen, we went with the Cafe line by GE, and I think they look really slick in this matte black finish. However, all of the handles come in a stainless steel, and I think they look really nice. However, it really clashes with our black and gold theme that we've been going with. But we were in luck because GE sells separate handles that you can buy in a variety of finishes, and one of those is gold. So I took off all the old handles, and it was easy enough with just an Allen wrench. I could just twist off some nuts, and it did take some time, but eventually got all of them off, and then I could unpack the new handles, and I just think they look so slick, and they're also very nicely packaged, so I highly recommend these if you're looking to buy some new appliances. Then after installing all of the new hardware, the kitchen was complete. Let's take one look back at what the kitchen used to look like. It was in disrepair, had a roof, and definitely needed some TLC. And here's what it looks like today.
And with that, the kitchen is fully complete. I'm really happy with the way that the project turned out. I just love the color scheme in here with the all black kitchen and also some of those wood tones as well as the gold accents too. I also think having the staircase in here is also a really cool architectural feature. Let me know what your guys' favorite part of the build is down in the comments, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. All my tools and anything else that I bought for the kitchen renovation will be linked down in the description. Those are Amazon affiliate links, so they do help the channel if you want to support me. Also, if you're new here, we post a new DIY video every single Saturday covering a different part of this lake house renovation. There's probably about 50 plus videos already in the series, and there's a lot more to go, so get subscribed and stay tuned. And as always, thanks for watching and happy building. See you next week.